Milo show is here today. You don't want to miss a single word they say. Bringing you founders from a near and far. Listen as they tell you now just who they are. Listen to the stories and how they tell. In just 3 minutes how they're doing well. Telling us what it's all about today. And how they are learning that on passive, way on passive. It's a here today on passive. There's just no better way to listen to the ONPASSIVE Milo show. So then you can be the very first to know ONPASSIVE is a here today. ONPASSIVE Milo show is coming your way Saturday on Passive. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Jeannie, take it away.
Thank you, Milo. Gosh, I always love to hear that and hear it live. That is the best. It's not recorded. It's Milo singing with us right here. It's awesome. So I want to welcome everybody to the ONPASSIVE Milo show. Today is November 5th, 2022. And once again, it's my honor to host on behalf of this amazing man, Milo Davis. And as he always reminds us, there would not be a show without all of you here, without you here to hear the speakers, to give your thoughts, to ask your questions, there just wouldn't be a Milo show at all. So thank you so much for being here. I want to talk just a little bit about the week that we've had. We talked a little bit before we started, but it's sort of gone up to the next level, huh? I spoke last night on Friday Night Live that it's like there's been a shift that has happened in our thinking. And I think we can all agree that we are not the same people that we were last week. I mean, I think a lot of people can relate to that there was this sort of veil lifted and this knowing that with the O Media team, which Ash has been referring to as the in-house script writing in-house team, that they have shown to us the magnitude of the caliber of people that Ash has attracted. And he considers all of us in that group, that he's attracted people with similar hearts and minds. And so everything that they shared about the products, the O Media team, all those wonderful people, it's just, we are not in the same place that we were 1 week ago. And the other thing was the Friday Night Live last night. If you don't know already, Ash Mufareh came on very late, like around 9:45, 10-ish. It was already an incredible show, and Ash came on, and then just the world came in, got up to about 3.2K attendees, all listening to his thoughts. He came because he wanted to hear people's feedback about the CEO update on Thursday and the products. He wanted to listen, and in the course of that show he took feedback from a couple people. Daryl Cook, I remember specifically, he took the feedback, called his team, and came back with an update that it would be incorporated into like the next update on the product. That is what ONPASSIVE can do. That's the speed of this company, the incredible technical team. Yeah, if you have a chance, please go back and listen to Friday Night Live. It was absolute gold, 5 hours plus of absolute pure gold. So without further ado, I want to thank anybody, since I came on a little late today, I want to thank anybody who was helping Lynn behind the scenes, bringing people on or anything like that. Lynn, is there anybody specific that you want to call out in particular? Not counting John, because I'm going to mention him.
Oh, you mean for last night?
Like, no, just now today. Did anybody help you with bringing people on or anything like that?
I came in late actually, so you
guys.
guys.
So we all came in late. Well, I'm going to go ahead.
You guys are here before me.
Hey, Jeannie, Casey.
Yes. Casey,
come on. He helped a lot bringing the backgrounds on. Bruce Gerstein,
phenomenal.
Come on, and Marcienne.
Marcienne, excellent. Thank you all so much. And John Barilla, always. I don't know how this company would function without you and your Guardian team to make sure that things are going well. Last night was a real adventure. Just the last few days have been, the word is getting out about ONPASSIVE, and the darkness is rearing its ugly head. Let's just leave it at that. And without John Barilla and this team of fierce warriors, it would be a lot different experience in these meetings. It's so appreciated, John. So thank you so much for being here. And Lynn Nakamoto, my utmost respect. Thank you for being my co-host today. I just cannot say enough about you. You are a gem in the crown of ONPASSIVE. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And the topic today is one that our special guest is extremely excited about, which makes me excited. It is how ONPASSIVE can help churches and other charitable organizations. And without further ado, I want to introduce this incredible man who thinks so outside the box, Milo Davis. Come on down.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Jeannie. And I want to thank you for being the host today. And of course, Lynn and John and everyone that makes this happen. Marty behind the scenes, man. It's just, it's almost getting like a well-oiled machine that just, it just goes. But incredible things that have happened in the last 2 days. You know, I was kind of under the weather the last 2 days, but I was able to watch all these things go. You know, I got to watch Thursday a couple times and got to watch, like I said, part of last night. I went on after working till 2 in the morning on this, getting this show together. I went on to this morning to try to get the replay, and I thought I could get it in, but I only got 3 hours in. So I got 4 more hours to go when we're done with this show to watch that. It was an incredible show, man. Wow. The gold that was brought out. But what we're here today about is churches and how is I better start my clock, man. I'll go over time. How is this incredible thing called ONPASSIVE going to help churches and charitable organizations? Now, sometimes, you know, someone will say will spark something. And I can tell you, these aren't all my ideas, but I hear a little bit here, a little bit there, and here and there. And all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, wow. And so when you get that concept, or when you hear it, you know, listen, it might work for you. It might, you know, it might not be something you're interested in, but I want to talk about churches. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you from my point, what I'm doing. Now, I'm not saying everyone should do this, but I'm saying this is what I'm doing with my church. Okay. I brought my minister in. That's going to provide him with a retirement plan. So I put a spot in under him. I'm going to put a spot for my church underneath that. And then I'm going to start getting all the people in my church in. Even I'm taking the money that comes in, the apples that comes in, and I'm going to just build underneath that church, right? So do you realize the more that I build under that church, the more the church will flourish, the more that everything will. And the apples coming in, you know, I only did a one-time thing, and it's just constantly building that thing. That's an incredible, when you think about it, how incredible is that? You pay one time, or you give one time a small thing, and it blossoms into this big orchard where everyone can benefit from it. And same way with charitable organizations. You know, why give a donation to a charitable organization when you can put them a position in, and then you get your money, you get what you gave back, plus you can keep doing it over and over and over, and it will grow to be something big. This is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And let's just talk about churches. How is it going to help churches? Well, churches, now, forgive me, but I'm not into church politics, and I'm not into church, you know, if you're a judgmental church, you know, I have no place for that stuff. I believe everyone believe whatever you want, you know, and it's okay. If you do whatever you want, I tell you. If you want to know what I think, I can tell you, but you know, I'm not pushing it on nobody. So I'm not a real churchy type guy, even though I grew up in a Pentecostal church. My dad was a minister. I was 36 years. I sang in Southern gospel music with my late wife. I was the treasurer of a great big church, the piano player, all that. So I know all the church politics. I know all the, you know, everything that goes on. But what I'm saying is churches have an outreach. And I think most communities you know, churches help communities, you know, and it don't matter what kind of church it is, they help communities. Why? Because people that are in need seem to go to the churches to get help, which is a great thing. Now, as a church, how cool is it that you can offer these type of help? What about a food bank? Do you realize that churches have food banks where people can come get food? You know, you can fund a food bank just by one, you putting in a thing, food bank, you know, underneath your church. And now you take the money that are the apples that come in from that spot, and you fund a food bank. That food bank will get so big that you won't, I don't know how you give away that much food. Okay. So that's just one thing. Now, a lot of these things I know because I was a church treasurer, so I know things that went in. Okay, how about missionaries, which I was never, I got to tell you, I was always under the thing that, hey, why don't we take care of things at home before going abroad? That was my thought. About 3 weeks ago, on a Thursday night, 3 or 4 weeks ago, my brain won't stop half the time. It just rolls and rolls, you know, with this ONPASSIVE thing. And I was sitting there thinking, you know, how it's going to bless churches and stuff. And all of a sudden it came to me, what about missionaries? And I said, wow, you know what? The cool thing is now we live in abundance. We don't have to worry about the apples. The apples are going to come in. We just have to be able to push them out someplace to get them working and to, you know, to help humanity. That's what this ONPASSIVE thing is about. It's a movement. You know, it's not, you know, yeah, there's the business end of it that we've had the different softwares and stuff like that that keep us going. But the truth of it is when we want to push it out to humanity. We want to help humanity. Now, I go back to one thing that, so then now all of a sudden another thing clicks in my mind that says, hey, what about there's only 59.2% of the world gets internet right now? And I thought, yeah, well, what about overseas or in places where people have never heard, they don't know anything about the internet. They've never heard church, they've never heard singing, they've never heard whatever you have to say or whatever you have to sell. What about touching those people? What if I could find a missionary in a country that could do that? So I'm thinking along these lines, and I go to church on Sunday morning. Guess what the preacher stands up and says? He says, we're going to get more involved in missions. I'm like, whoa, okay. And so right there was my answer. You know, I'm going to get involved with missions. We have missionaries. I'm going to get involved with missions. I'm going to put people in mission to help the missionaries. And then I'm also going to take those apples and I'm going to fund those other people that need it in there. Do you think we can change a world by that? Absolutely. We can change countries very quickly because remember, if we're given to them like that and they come in, do you think they're going to share with their partner who are their people who have never heard this, who are, you know, making no apples? You know, it's going to be world changing when you think about that. So I say, you know, hey, underneath that church, hey, I'm going to put a mission thing. And then that's going to build from there. All of that is coming back up to help the church, right? And help you, you know, and you're funding it all. You're help funding it all. And this is about how can we create funding, you know? Now, what about a building fund? You ever thought about a building fund? Churches that, you know, if they need a building fund and they're saying, hey, we need money, we need it. What about starting a building fund before you even need it? Because I'm going to tell you, if you want to, your church can grow with this, because with ONPASSIVE, remember, you can also use OConnect to connect with the world. You to get your thoughts out there, get your ministry out there. You know, people love to hear different people. You know, don't think that just because you're small that you can't be something in the world, because there's people dying to learn, people wanting to learn. And if you're out there, if you have your own O Connect, you can bring that out there. What about doing a personally myself, I love the elderly, and I love the shut-ins, and I think sometimes we don't do enough for them. And so I love the old hymns. I love all the old songs that that can be sung. How about incorporating that into your church, where now you've got the old hymns, and maybe you have a certain day of the week or whatever that show comes on, or you could do it every day or whatever. What if we do something syndicated where, hey, I've got a show that, hey, if you want to use it, you can use it. What if someone else has another show? If you want to use it, you can use it. You understand how we can build a whole thing to our like, whatever we like. We don't have to do anything that we don't want to do. We do whatever we want to do. And I think that's the cool thing about ONPASSIVE. It allows us all a lane to get into and do whatever you feels right. I mean, you don't have to do anything you don't want to, but I tell you what, when you get in a lane and you find it, it's so cool. And when people start finding it, which they will, because remember, it's all AI. So now people are going and they're finding churches. They might find a certain minister that they like. They might like, some people, what if you had a Bible study? People love Bible studies. It's not my thing, but a lot of people love Bible studies. What if you put a Bible study on your church show and they could go to a Bible study? You could do series. What if it wasn't even your church, but it was a syndicated where you could bring different ones on? All of this brings up great things. But the cool thing about it is, if we work together and we build this, it will affect everybody involved. It will affect everybody, and I'm just, I'm happy that this has become a part of my life. I can't tell you how excited I am that this is going to be such a huge part. And charitable organizations, let's talk about them for a minute. What if you donated to St. Jude's? Let's say you donated to St. Jude's. Well, instead of donating, how about buying a position for them and let that go, and then every month you just keep adding to it. When you get money from your account, you just put it back into St. Jude's, put it back into St. Jude's. Do you realize that it won't be long that we will be supporting a lot of these things? And there's some great organizations out there. I would tell you, be careful what you're supporting. Make sure the money is going where it needs to be, because if it's not, then it's, shouldn't do it. Probably go a different way. We have Oh Bless. Remember, we have Oh Bless. But also with these charitable organizations and stuff, what if you went into St. Jude's once you had St. Jude's in and you walked into St. Jude's? And I can tell you, there'll be things that will grip your heart like you won't believe in there, and you talk to people. And what about all of a sudden you go in and you say, hey, I'm going to help you, here's a spot, and you get them a position. You see how all that builds, and it builds back up, and it helps whoever it's funding whatever you're wanting to do. So I believe that we can help fund, and there's no reason that we can't fund a whole lot of things. If you're passionate about it, the thing about it is, if you help fund it, if you get a spot and you're there, you're building it. And as you bring, you can just recycle it, because remember, if you got one, you don't need any more. It's all about humanity. It's all about helping. It's all about being good to people, and I believe that with ONPASSIVE, I mean, when I seen the stuff that came out, Thursday and last night, you talk about Own Joy, what an incredible product. And I mean, I know there's going to be so many more down the road that we'll be able to bless all kinds of people, and it's going to change. Honestly, it's going to change all of our lives. If you're here today, which I'm sure you're here, and you're probably a founder, you are blessed. You are very blessed, because you can't even stop what's going to happen to you. It's just going to happen. That's the cool part. It's going to happen for all of us. And I do believe that when that first apple hits, all of a sudden it's going to change the whole dynamics of it. And remember, that's not that far away, 2.5 weeks or so. But I just want to encourage all of you, to think about some of these things. I love churches and I love what they do. I love how they bring things out. And I'm sure there's going to have people have questions, and I would love that. But also next week, probably I'll be doing entertainers, and the week after that, probably cancer patients. So 2 more big ones. Those are my 3 big things that I'm passionate about. And I encourage all of you, find something that you're passionate about. Hey, and let's build something, for you. Because there's a lot of good ideas out there, and you won't believe how many good ideas are in the graveyard that never got done because they didn't have ONPASSIVE. We have ONPASSIVE. Let's think about that for a second. We have ONPASSIVE. We've got something no one else has ever had before. So I encourage you to do that. Back to you, Jeannie.
Thank you so much, Milo. Wow, you've given us a lot of food for thought. And the thing that strikes me is that nothing is ever going to be the same. Just you think about, like, say, school supplies or something like that, those things are not going to be a concern very soon. Those people having to scramble to pay for this or that, they just will not be an issue. And that is the ripple effect of that, or the need for that, and ONPASSIVE's effect on that is going to be just like astounding. It's going to be astounding. So on this particular topic of churches and charitable organizations, it dawned on me when you were talking, Milo, that getting a church a reseller position, or bringing them in as a customer and then helping them to get the reseller, how we don't really know how that's going to look, right? It's not a like one little package. So it might be, depending on pricing or whatever, we might bring them in and get them just a few tools or something like that, something to get them started, and then the ball rolls from there, right? But they're not just getting funding, they're getting the tools of ONPASSIVE. They're getting the O-Connect for their meet. They could do global church meetings. They could do say a church newsletter is going to have all it. Every single thing is going to be transformed by the tools. So we're not even, the money is a given. It's going to be trickling in, church fundraisers, all these things. They're going to become a thing of the past because the churches will be able to fund themselves. And every time you turn around, you say, hey, we want to build, put in a park, down the road. You set up like Milo says, you set up a position for it, it funds it, or you fund from your current position. It's just never ending. And so, gosh, it just makes me feel so warm inside thinking of all of the ways that all these things that used to be a struggle are not going to be a struggle anymore. And no, it's not going to happen overnight, but I think we can all agree it's going to happen faster than we think. It's going to, did you want to say something on that, Milo?
Yeah, I was just going to say, absolutely. It is going to change the dynamics of everything. You mentioned something there, what if a church wants to set a gym or a family center? A lot of people can't do that now, but you just set up a position for it, and it's just a thing of the past. And you're exactly right as far as funding or the money. The money's a thing, I should say the apples are a thing of the past, man. It doesn't matter at this point because that's a done deal. It's just a matter of putting positions in. And then they get all the tools. And like you said, I mean, can you imagine church newsletters? You'll be able to knock them out in no time, and the graphics and with OCapture and all the different things, tools that we've got, ODIT, or how about putting a website together for a church? I mean, what about putting a church picture book together where that you You tell everyone, you know, and you could even have their bios in there if they wanted it. You could lock it down to only church members if you wanted to. You could leave it open, whatever people wanted. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep some privacy there, but that will all be in there, how you want to do it. I do believe, you know, and of course we don't know it all, and a lot of things I think will happen, but I don't know it all. But I like to think and guess, you know, sometimes about it. Sometimes that might get me in trouble, but anyway, you were spot on that.
Well, and also Academy. So you were talking about Bible studies that people could go in and do like a series of yeah. And again, I'm like you, Milo. I was raised in you know in the church, and I'm more of a broad like a non-denominational person. Let's just put it that way. My concept of God is so vast that no religion, no denomination can capture it. So I try to keep out of the like you said, the politics, the all of that. So what Passive is going to do for churches and charitable organizations is going to, with all these tools, it's going to free them up to do the work they want to do. It's going to free them up to be able to go out and be that loving hand to that person on the sidewalk, to provide the food for they're going to have the time freedom and the financial freedom to be able to do what brought them to the organization to start with. And that is the most beautiful thing to me. It's the same thing with children in schools, that the alteration of that whole system is going to free the children up to be incredible global citizens, to be the best that they can be, and that will then it's just, you could really make yourself a little crazy thinking of the pebble in the pond, and you do the one small thing and then it goes and it goes and it goes. And so for churches, I just it's just going to be wonderful because they're going to get back to the basics of love your fellow man, and then they're going to have all the tools to do that, and it's going to be so pleasant and beautiful and transformative that it makes me very, I know you're excited about this topic, Milo, and the way that your mind thinks, it's just, there are like it's like pictures of the brain, you know, just things shooting out in all directions all at once. And you probably say there aren't enough hours in the day for me to follow the trajectory of all of my different thoughts, but all you can do is get a pad of paper and a pen and scribble as fast as you can and hope for the best. That's just the way it is. And I'm sure Ash experiences this all the time, where the ideas are coming in so fast and furious he can't capture them.
That is the truth, Jeannie. And you know, there's just so many ways that you can. ONPASSIVE is for anything and everything that you want to do. I'm telling you, for anything and everything you ask me how it can help with this, I guarantee I can come up with a whole bunch of ways. But some of us have passions. One of mine is churches, one of them is entertainers, and one is cancer. Those are the three that personally I like to concentrate on. But can I help with all the others? And am I going to jump in on all the others? Absolutely. But you know, when you talk about you know, Academy, you said about that, you know, what if churches have Bible studies? They have series on Revelations. You know, people are into Revelations or into different Bible studies. You get the best of the best and you bring them in, and you let them you know, if they agree with what you're teaching, all of a sudden you bring them on your church thing and share it with your church. How does that help building churches? What if you had a John Maxwell come in, you know, and he did a series? And what if he did a series of teaching? You know, how cool is that to do some of this stuff? You know, some of the stuff people agree with some things and not other things. And I'm saying you have the choice. You can do whatever you want to. You find whatever you want to that is like you, and you can do it. So a great point there.
And another thing, I was just scribbling some notes here, that when you talked about missionaries and your love of music as well, just imagine that, you know, musical outreach, musicians going to hospitals to for children or anyone who is ill in hospitals. Music heals so much. So imagine those programs are usually struggling for funding, or the musicians always have to give their time voluntarily, right? Because the groups can't afford to pay all these musicians, but they should be paid. That's their work, right? So now they'll be funded, and they'll be able to do more and more, because I don't know about you, Milo, but being able to share music in that way is so rewarding. And there are so many musicians out there that would like to do it, but maybe they don't have the money to be able to volunteer the time, right? So those kinds of things, and music, and all of the arts really, but particularly music, because it's vibrational. It affects the cells. It's truly healing on a physical level, and mental and emotional, spiritual. So to get more of that out into the world is important. So if Milo has a music outreach program in his church, project, that is going to then, I mean, that just a wave of that across the planet, of more of that uplifting. He talked about the old hymns, or any music in any, it doesn't even have to be a religion, but soul enriching music. Oh my gosh, I've heard some music from Bangladesh and India recently that just lifted me. So any of that music that is going to be able to be shared more with the world is going to be just one more thing that ONPASSIVE does to lift the humanity. Like Ash said, I think it was last night, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. OnJoy is going to be doing that. So music, for me and for Milo, I know, is going to be a really big part. So this funding through the churches can be just amazing. What was the other thing? I
Teeny,
had one. Yeah,
teeny,
go.
funny brother, let me, you just sparked something in my mind, believe it or not, another avenue. Imagine if you have a mom or a dad sitting in an assisted living home who love, whether it's old gospel or country or whatever music they have. How cool would it be for you to, let's set up a thing where, they have a spot, they have a position. All of a sudden, you could do it every day, whatever. People come in and they do a sing along, or they do, something on Zoom. You could actually do it on Zoom and get the feedback from it. And like you said, there's nothing like music when it touches the soul. And when you're there, I remember being in a home once. I think I told you guys, I'll keep it short on this one, but I was singing. There was about 150 people in assisted living. This one little lady that had Alzheimer's, she'd just go da, 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 da. That's all she did all day long for 4 or 5 years that I was there. I got up and I was singing, and I started singing, "I come to the garden alone." And I seen a nurse walk over to her. And pretty soon I seen another one. And there, before it was over, there was 10 nurses there. I closed the show with "How Great Thou Art," and I walked out into the crowd. I started shaking hands. People thought that, it was nice of me to come out there, but the energy coming back was incredible, that I got back from them. But Julie, one of the nurses, walked up to me, and I said, "What was going on back there?" She goes, "You're not going to believe it." She says, "When you started singing, I come to the garden alone," and she said her name, I don't remember what it was. She said she sang every word of it. And I thought to myself, man, if for 3 minutes that brought that lady that much joy that she could come back to where she was, how incredible is that? So just think about if we had something with where people could join this thing, and we put all the assisted living, all the nursing homes in one thing, and all of a sudden they're all benefiting, but they're all benefiting from each other. You know what I'm saying? And how incredible is that? We just sign up, you could even sign up the parents, you could even, sign it up for senior care, it make everything a whole lot better in the world. Back to you, Jim.
Milo, you had me in tears there, and I see John shaking his head because he knows the power of this. My mom was in memory care for years, and I was one of her caregivers with my siblings. And so we worked very closely with this community and saw a lot of heart-wrenching things, about 30 different types of memory, Alzheimer's. There's so many different kinds, and they're all different, from young people, people my age with Alzheimer's or early onset, or head trauma, or any number of things. But my mom, when people would come in to sing, and she would sing along. Now, my mom, I was very blessed that my mom, because we spent so much time with her, she remembered me to the end. That's not the case with a lot of people. So when you can go and visit your relative and you see them, they don't know who you are, they don't know where they are or why, what's going on around them. It's terrifying for them. And they play a song, a hymn, and they start singing along. It takes your breath away. So if I can be a part of that, Milo, sorry, that will make my life, to be able to be a part of bringing people out that way. And we're going to be doing this all over the globe in all different ways, not just churches, but we're just going to be lifting people, Papua New Guinea, we're going to be lifting people out of this incredible struggle, and making it beautiful again. So Milo, what do you think? It's maybe a good time to bring on some of these hands.
Yes.
All right. So first up we have, is it Caroline or Carolyn?
Hey, Jeannie, it's Caroline.
Caroline.
And first of all, I want to thank Milo for all of his suggestions, and you too, Jeannie, because I mean, there's going to be a lot of tears. There's going to be a lot of joy and a lot of tears of joy, because of what ONPASSIVE is going to be doing. But I wanted to thank Milo for all of his suggestions. I think they are excellent. And I wanted to, I'm going to kind of make this fast because we got to get ready to go to the ONPASSIVE event that Dr. Bill Williams is having today that starts at 4 o'clock. So that's starting today. But I wanted to ask Milo, as far as the retirement plan for the pastors, are you putting them in as resellers or are you putting them in as customers?
I'm putting them in as resellers.
Okay, because I know that Michael Williams had said, never give your founder's position away. And I totally agree with that. So I wanted to find out how you were doing that. So that's good to know.
I agree 100%. Never give your founder's position away. Remember, I said reseller. That's not the same. Reseller is you come in as a reseller. Now, some might not want to resell, and you can make them a customer. But never, personally, I never give any of my founders away. Now, what I do is, like, I have a founder's position that I call churches, and all of that is underneath that. Okay. But I'll never give my founder's position away. That will fund everything underneath it. So it funds the pastors, funds the churches, and I just keep going as the money comes in for that position, that founder's position. I just keep adding people underneath it.
Okay, that sounds good. And what about what I'd like to see if ONPASSIVE or the leaders could maybe give us some suggested steps, such as, when we start sending out emails or letters to these churches, because I would like to know what is the terminology or a letter that might be approved by the O Media or Dr. Soho as to what we can say so that we don't get into trouble with this, because
Right.
I think that would be a good suggestion. Like if we started up a Facebook page for ONPASSIVE, like ONPASSIVE churches or ministries or something like that, but have the leaders get a pre-approved formatted letter that we can send out to people I think would be a good suggestion.
Okay. Let me say this, do nothing at this point, okay, until we know. They're going to tell us step by step what will happen. Now,
Okay.
this is what I plan on doing. I believe it, and it will work, but I'm just here again. Go back to what Dr. Soho said. I'm just going to give you suggestions at this point, but I don't know if it's right or not. I plan on building a church website called Churches that will have things that you need in it. and we will come up with something, whether it's from the company or from me or whatever, that will help you with that. But remember, do nothing at this point, at least for another 2.5 weeks till we launch this baby and we know exactly what it is. At that point, we'll be able to make more definitive actions. I'm just telling you what's on my heart and how I see it as happening for me. Okay. And
Okay.
you can follow that lead if you want to.
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic. And we really can't do anything yet because we don't have the links to send the people to those founders positions anyway.
You are
So
exactly right. There's nothing you can do. So you just sit back, relax, listen to the webinars. Ash has been laying down some gold lately. Follow what they say, and just know that it's coming. And all I'm saying is, hey, let's start thinking about what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it. And it could change. It could change. It could change. There could be something said that, hey, that doesn't work. Well, we'll go a different way. So we have to always adapt to change. But all I'm saying is start thinking ahead, start thinking ahead.
okay, that sounds great. And another thing too is that when these letters, these form letters are formulated or whatever, and I'm assuming that they will be also have the translation language so that if we wanted these languages to go or these letters to go out in different languages, ONPASSIVE would help us accommodate for that also.
Absolutely. That's in the program.
Okay. Another question that I have is that when we set up, like I plan on setting up foundations for to be able to give. So do we set up the money that's going to be going to these ministries or to these churches through OBLESS, because the money's going to be coming into us, to our position personally, which we will be 1099'd on. Then, I mean, I can always put that into, that money go to a foundation and then be given to the churches or the ministries, or do we set them up through OBLESS? Do you have any suggestions on that?
I could get in trouble here, but I would always set it up. If you're given more than a little bit or just something to help out, something quick, I think it's always better to give them a position, because when you give them a position, you're not giving them one time, you're giving for the rest of your life. If you give the other way, you're giving a one-time donation. And not only that, remember, when you give as a position, you're also getting funded back so you can keep giving. You can keep giving. They can also keep giving. And that's what this is all about. Remember the thing about if I had a penny and I doubled it each day, how it expands? That's the way ONPASSIVE is. It's incredible.
And that's great. And thank you for answering that. But my intention is to keep giving and keep giving. But if we set them up as a reseller, then that money goes directly to them and they will be the one accountable for the tax consequences, if there are any. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's why you want to do that.
Okay. One other thing and then I'll get off the phone and let somebody, or get off the Zoom meeting and let somebody else answer questions. But I have got several founders positions that I will hire staff in order to help me manage these. So my question is about the EKYC. We've got a password to get into our back office. Okay. And that's what I'm going to need for my staff to get into in order to do the marketing and everything like that I want them to do. But will we have a different set of securities to get into the O-wallet? Because that's something that I do not want my staff to have access to.
That's a good question. I would think you could, you know what you could probably do is set that account up and have it go right into your main wallet so they don't have access to it.
Okay, I see Marty was shaking his head yes.
Marty?
They'll be separate. You might be able to get into the account, not a big deal. Getting into the wallet is Fort Knox. No one will be able to get in but you.
Okay, and will they be able to get into the original founder's position with since I've got my EKYC, which the artificial intelligence is going to see my face, but it's going to be them getting into that. How do we overcome that?
Well, right now they can, but it depends on what they wind up doing. If they do the facial recognition, which I thought didn't take place until you get to the money area. Yeah, they can get in, but we got, like Milo said, this thing's very fluid. They're changing stuff daily. I mean, I've talked to Ash on a Tuesday about something, and the following Tuesday they switch it, always for the better, but it's something else. So, but your money part of it, if you remember, he took out the one-time password, one-time passcode. Remember, we just had, because what they're doing is they're moving the security part more inside towards where the money is. So I believe you can let somebody in your account if you want to give them access, but there's going to be that wall there between inside and the actual account. But don't take my word 100% because things are changing daily.
Okay, that sounds great. And Milo, I loved your suggestions about the elderly, the shut-ins, the old hymns, and the assisted living. That's going to be one of my founders positions also. Thank you guys. Love y'all. And thank you for everything that y'all are doing. God bless you.
Thank you, Caroline. And I wanted to just say two things about what you shared. It's Dr. Soha. So it's not Soho. That was a mistake. And I don't know if everybody is aware of that. It's Soha with an A on the end. So I just wanted to clarify that. And also, you mentioned about setting up a Facebook group. And I just kind of wanted to say, we're not going to need Facebook much longer. So you're going to want to set that group up in ONET. So that was, I just wanted to chime in there. Okay,
Club.
next, you want to say something on that?
No, I was just going to say clubs. It'll be
Club, yes. And,
Yeah,
and some,
it'll
like
be a
Marty
club.
said, yeah, the terms may change, you know, all of those terms. So yeah, and about what you were asking about, you know, we don't know yet. So we're just going to wait, and they're going to guide us, like the O Media team said, they're going to guide us every step of the way. All of these questions that you had, other people have, and it's going to be explained beautifully, easily. So not to worry.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Jean. And also I was aware that Dr. Soha's name was Soha. It must have been my Southern accent. So anyway, thank you for bringing that to my attention though. Appreciate it.
I love to hear the Southern accent. My mom is from Mississippi, so I love it. I love it. All right, next up, God bless you. Next we have Jim Bell. Would you unmute your mic?
Hey, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, Milo. Hi, Milo.
Hey,
long time no see. Nice to meet you there, Jenny. I've been pretty busy the last 10 months, so I haven't been able to get on a lot of webinars, but I try to catch up whatever I can. But great subject about churches. And I don't want to get political or anything, but if I think of the correction to the corruption, with the way everything went the last couple of years, and they started silencing the churches and stuff like that, because we couldn't get into even our own church. So we started going online, and we found, this is what I was thinking, what you were saying earlier about helping churches, right? Like Jack Hibbs, he's from out of California. You know about him, Milo?
Who is that, Jack?
Jack Hibbs.
I don't know about him. There was a Jack something started with an H that I knew about, but I don't think it was him.
Yeah, Jack Hibbs. He's on every Sunday and Wednesday, and he's and this is why I started thinking about Connect, because now, because the left wingists, like the political part of the world, are trying to silence everything. So his YouTubes are going to start going down soon. So having Connect would be a blessing in there for them. So that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, ONPASSIVE is going to help a lot of people. And like I've had a lot of issues this year myself. Like even my speech is starting to slur every now and then because I'm losing everything. I even lost my license because of my eyesight. So the last 10 months have been pretty hectic. So, but yeah, it was a good subject, Milo. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening to me.
All right. Thank you, James. Thank you, James. Just want to make sure that that we're all aware that I'm not advocating leaving your local church. Your local church is important. Make sure you fund your local church. You do that. That's what this is all about. Everyone else, yes, you can join others that are out there, you know, to benefit you, but please make sure that you stay with your local church. Back to you, Jeannie.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jim Bell, for coming today. Next up, we have Yvonne Mundi. Please come on down.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Jean, for inviting me. Thank you, Milo. Thank you too for bringing those wonderful, wonderful ideas. And I thank everybody on this panel because you guys are a great contribution. You know, you have just awakened the sleeping dog that was laying for such a long, long time by bringing those incredible, wonderful ideas that have been laying dormant in me and was looking for an outlet. I just want to thank you. When you talk about homelessness, when you talk about education, music and dance in schools, when you talk about sing-along, these are incredible things that will really, really shape and uplift children and everybody, even adults, physically, mentally, and socially, which will also help to open up their minds to other incredible things. When you talk about education through ONPASSIVE, freeing children of time that they can use to focus on creating other things that are in them. These things so much resonate with me. Missionaries for the world, teaching, bringing the different beautiful cultures of the world, mixing them together is a very, very wonderful thing that is so much needed. Scholarship is one of the things I've always wanted to do. I was doing it little by little, and then I kind of stopped because I did not know how to proceed and what to do. But guess what? Now, ONPASSIVE with the CEO, Ash Mufare, and all of you here has made it a possibility because I feel the excitement and even just crying for all of these things. I'm like, how did this come about? There's a lot of things here: assisted living, elderly care, you know, scholarships for children, and charitable organizations, and building shelters for people who are homeless. These are incredible things. And I'm going to leave it at this point. It's a lot of things that I'm glad that there are experts among us that are going to help me put these things together and begin to execute them to uplift one soul at a time. I so love you all, and I thank you guys so much for bringing these incredible ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Milo, did you want to share some thoughts about what Yvonne just said?
It's beautiful. I mean, I love it when, you know, sometimes whatever someone will say will activate something within your mind to go a different, you know, different direction. And that's the beautiful thing about ONPASSIVE. Like I said, I don't care what it is you want to talk about. This will do it. If you put in a position for homelessness and you just start funding it, all of a sudden, guess what? You keep funding the homelessness and they keep funding, and pretty soon it builds a whole thing. You know, think about school sports. You know, kids nowadays have to pay a ton of money. I can't understand how, you know, my daughters and stuff, man, they put their kids in sports and it's like thousands of dollars, right? So what happens if we start, you know, we start funding a sports program, whether it's at your high school, and even you could make it a, you know, a foundation for your grandson or something like that. So I could say, here's Cooper's foundation. You know, he went to school here in St. Joe, and all of a sudden I start funding all this stuff, and all his friends start coming in, and then their family comes in, and then you see how this thing builds. All of a sudden, they don't have to worry about paying for sports because it will pay for it all. You know, it will take care of everything. Theater, dance, whatever you think, man, you can do it with this, you know. And churches, today we talk about churches, and that's the outreach, you know. But we have all these other projects that we talked about, you know, which Willow Griffith talked about abused women, Amy Rydell with her blue tarp, Dave Rosowski with ocean reclamation. Who would have thought that? Before I listened to Dave talk, I didn't think nothing about ocean reclamation. Do you think I'm getting behind it? Absolutely, I'm funding that thing. Wayne Dockery, how to create a fund and fund a scholarship program. Tina Go, Homeward, you know, talking about IT. Leon Holiday on little houses and little communities. You know, Yvonne Mundy on building hopes and dreams for people. Dr. Deborah Drake, how about her with health? You know what? That's going to change the world. Brian and Danita talking about helping jailmates. All of these projects that we have, you know, that we're going to be able to get into and help fund if we want to, you know, if it's something that we like, you know. So back to you, Jeannie.
Awesome. Thanks, Milo. Hey, I want to just send a request out. Hey, we've got 3 hands up here, but we've got a healthy amount of time left. I know you're all thinking about stuff. So I would love, and I know we have some international guests on here. Please raise your hand and share your thoughts. Oh, Rika, yay. I really want to hear your thoughts because it's going to take a village of minds to really get this going around the world. And it doesn't have to be specifically about churches. It can be any kind of charitable organization or an organization that normally would be struggling for funds, trying to do good works in the world and having to scrape up pennies every time, anything like that. So if that sparks an idea in you or a question, please raise your hand and come join us. Next up, we have, is it Mufumbiro Ramathan from Uganda? Let me unmute you again here. I think it doesn't seem to be unmuting. Hold on just a sec. I'm going to wait a minute. Did you see a ask to unmute yourself button coming up? Mufumbiro? Mufumbiro? Doesn't seem to be working. So if you just hang on and we'll come back to you. Next, we have William Delorme. If you could come on down and join us.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
You're looking well.
Yeah, I'm much better.
Awesome.
So I'm not, I don't have waterworks coming out of my eyes anymore, which is good. Now I can go forward with ONPASSIVE, Oh Joy, and all the rest of the products that are coming out will be awesome. We have a lot of products. So I have a position for the church. So I wanted to know, like, the ministry is like divided with the one part in Toronto and one part in Ottawa. So how would I use the products from one ministry to another?
William, what I would do, I believe you have a founder's position, right?
Yes.
Okay, don't give your founder's position up.
I'm not doing that. I'm just saying I want to.
Right. What you would do is just put in a position for each of them. You'll have plenty. You have plenty of apples to do that. So you just put in a position for the Toronto and a position for the Ottawa or whatever.
Well, you can't do that now.
Well, no, you can't right now, but once you get resellers, once it opens up, which, you know, whenever that is, within the next 2 weeks, you know, you'll be able to buy resellers positions.
Yes. So I understand that. What I want to do is like for the children, like Oh Joy, you want them to use it. So
okay.
So you would want the ministry in Toronto to use it too for their children.
Sure.
So how would you do that?
Well, like I said, you get 2 positions. Remember, you got plenty of apples. Just get 2 positions, and they either get on Joy or you buy it for them. It's real simple.
Okay, so that would be the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to try to let one use the other. You can if you want. But I mean, I would set it up as 2, because remember, 2 is going to be better. You know, it's going to help you fund it, and it'll also help them fund. Now, if you wanted to do one right under the other, you could do that, or you could, you know, however you want to do it.
Yeah, like the apples coming in, I would like to share it, divide it up equally between
Between the
the
two.
ministry in Ottawa and Toronto. So it's like a trust fund.
Yep. So
Like-
I think the best way would be to put in both. And you can actually remember, because you're going to be getting a whole lot in under that top account. You can always fund it with the apples from that. So if you see Ottawa's a little behind, you put it more in Ottawa. If you see Toronto's more behind, you put more in there. You can
Yeah.
control kind of how it builds. You know what I'm saying?
So
And
when the taxes comes around, I would be able to put it up as a tax.
You're not-
for
you're not- yeah, you're not responsible for the taxes. The church would be.
Oh, so
The church
all-
would be, and they don't pay taxes, so. But you're not involved with it. You just you gave them that position. Now, you know, and remember, as you put more in underneath each one, you know, you can really see how it grows. Now, I will tell you this, remember, you're gonna have some people come in under one church or another church that have bigger, maybe mailing lists, have bigger fan base. So one, it might grow out of proportion. So you might have to try to keep, you know, just keeping up with the one that's less. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So when the KYC comes, I keep it to myself. The wallet.
No. If you're giving them that spot. So in other words, if you sign up to church in Toronto and you sign up to church in Ottawa or whatever,
Yeah.
that's you don't have that. That's not yours. That's theirs. Okay. Now
I talked to Priscilla, the lady that does all the income for the church. And I said to divide it up between Ottawa and Toronto. So she would take care of that. So I get the KYC from her.
then you only need one account. I mean, you don't need two accounts if you're going to divide it up that way.
No, I don't need two accounts.
No, you just need one. And you know, then you, if they're going to divide it up in the church, you just need one, and they take care of the taxes or whatever, they fill it out. And
I have an idea. If they're using the product for the children at the church in Ottawa, I can actually buy the product for the people in Toronto to use.
absolutely, you're going to have more apples than you need, William. However it works out for you, whatever works out good. I don't think any of us is going to worry about whatever that is. You know, so
I can always send in anything I'm doing to our media, and she'll help us out.
Sure.
Okay.
Did that
Yes.
answer your question?
Yeah, that does. Yes.
Okay. Jeannie?
Yeah, William, everything, with the KYC, it's all going to be totally explained to us for every different country, every step of the way. So we don't need to get anxious about any of that. They're really going to be right there. We're not going to be left out in the wilds to fend for ourselves and figure this out. They're going to explain everything clearly. And you saw with Dr. Soha, she's like very clear and very definitive, and she will explain, and we'll know exactly what to do when the time comes. And also to remember, and Milo mentioned this, our wallets will be able to talk to one another, right? It's you know, if I want to send a little money to Milo's project or Ava's project or John Barilla's project, you know, as long as that person has an O wallet, we can send anywhere. So it doesn't, we'll have so much freedom for where we send our apples. So that's also
I do have my personal position with family positions and friends position and those kind of things. I have 5 accounts actually. Not too many. I don't want to go overboard.
You're golden. You're golden. Thank you so much, William, for coming down. I really appreciate it. Next, we have, now, correct me if I'm wrong, is it Rekha or Rika?
It's Rekha.
Rika. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. You've been so amazing in the international events, the India events. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Jenny. That means a lot to me. And honestly, being with the ONPASSIVE, it is always beautiful to be with beautiful people around the world because we all are family and we are ONPASSIVians. We are here to make a difference to everybody's life. Thank you for inviting me and letting me in as a panelist with you all. And this is the first time I heard Milo's song live. It was amazing. I mean, it is always amazing to hear it on YouTube, but listening to it live, being in the panelist, it means a lot to me. Thank you. And yes, let's enjoy every moment and prepare ourselves to serve the world because we are all together here for a huge vision and mission being together. So, Jenny, I completely agree to what you said earlier. Music makes a difference. And honestly, there are so many examples where music have been a healing, a therapy to especially the special children, the special kids worldwide. And they have used this therapy not only with the music, but in the dance, in the art, and many other, talent where they can improve themselves. They only need a helping hand. They only need the organization where they can groom themselves because they have proven themselves in the worldwide many talent shows as well. So yes, on passive, coming with on passive, we all together will reach out to those organizations to bring those people who have been cut off with the world for some or the other reasons. Yes, I'm completely emotional at this point of time because I have seen few of the kids being in one of these, charitable where they did not. I mean, they don't. Most of these organizations they are lacking behind, and the people or the these special kids they are not able to get what they are actually what they should because of the financial problem. And honestly, we will raise this, at least we will be able to raise our hands and reach out to those people to actually give them what they actually are looking for. And I'm just blessed. I don't know, I may have done something good in my lifespan that I am a part of ONPASSIVE. And I really am looking forward to how I would be able to help humanity and make a difference to this world. Something or the other, yes, we will together do. Thank you so much, Jenny. Over to you. I am emotional. I won't be able to say much.
Thank you so much, Rika. Milo, did you want to comment on that?
Thank you, Rika. I love singing, as you can tell. My voice wasn't all at the top shape today, but thank you so much. I always love doing it on the ONPASSIVE Milo show. And thanks for everything else you said. It is going to make the world a better place. We are all world changers. And I'm telling you, this is a movement. This is a movement. And when we really catch it, it's not about the money at all. In fact, that goes by the wayside. We don't even care. It's the apples. We know they're going to be there. All we know is that when we get the apples in the basket, we don't want to leave them sit there because you know what happens when they sit in the basket? They rot. You don't want them to rot, man. Get them out as soon as you can because remember, you don't need any rainy day fund in ONPASSIVE because it rains every day in your wallet. And so just a couple things to think about. We have to think different than we've always thought. I do know that, you know, nothing's going to be the same anymore. So back to you, Jen. Thank you, Rika.
Rika. Next
Rika.
up we have next up we have Ava Diaz. Oh, sorry, you were unmuted and I messed you up there. Hold on. Not yet. There we go.
Okay. Hello, Jean. Hello,
Hello, Ava.
Milo, Lynn. It's so good to be on this show. This is my first time also. Though I do hear whenever possible on, I do come on Milo's show, but what Milo has said today has really touched me so much. My dream is also to help churches. I'm very much involved with a lot of churches out here in Bangladesh. And as you all know, very well aware, then the conditions in Bangladesh are not so very good. So I would like to help as much as possible, because they have children where they want to educate and they don't have the means. I want to go ahead and do that. But on a general basis, my first attempt to come into ONPASSIVE was, I was blessed by Derek to come on ONPASSIVE because I wanted to help the lesser fortunate ones, you know, the people out on the streets, to give them a meal. I still do it on my own. Even before I came on ONPASSIVE, I was doing it for the past 4 to 5 years and on my own resources, but I would like to do it on a bigger scale. So I know that this dream of mine has come true through Mr. Ash Mufarah. And I just want to do these two things. And especially, I want to help our churches. Our churches are also very much in need of it. So thank you, Milo, for bringing up such a beautiful topic today. And thank you to all for listening in. Thank you so much. Back to you, Jean.
Thank you, Ava. Milo, did you want to comment on that and the international aspect of what she was talking about?
I love hearing that. I love hearing that. You know, and I love that people are wanting to do that. And this is definitely going to give it a huge boost. It's going to give it a platform where we can join together with like-minded people. And like I said, the cool thing is you're not doing it on your own no more. You got an army behind you. You know, when we all the churches start getting in one group and they start funding, guess what? It helps everybody. And that's what it's all about. This is all about helping everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the missionaries aspect, you know, a church that Milo is funding could fund a missionary to Bangladesh. You know, imagine the interconnectedness of all of us around the world, and we all know and have shared the troubles where we are. And so we're all going to be, you know, reaching out and helping, and just it's going to be so amazing how what might have been a almost insurmountable problem for Bangladesh in your local area will be so easily remedied, because your friends in Canada, US, everywhere around the world are helping it. And it's going to happen very quickly as long as we get the information, just like a GoFundMe campaign gets sent around, you know, social media, and we all put our 10, 20 bucks in. Through ONET or Obless or whatever, we're going to be able to let the world know about these projects. And if we can't already fund them ourselves with our reseller positions, our friends will. So it's just going to be beautiful and amazing. Thank you so much, Ava. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Patricia Parent. I know you're going to have something gorgeous to say. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Milo and Janine. Yes, this is my heart, is to help share God's word whether it's through music or just words, helping the church in our local communities. I have so many because I have traveled from place to place having to move. So my churches are everywhere in Saskatchewan, and not only Saskatchewan, because I do Bible studies across the globe. And right now, because of language barriers and stuff, it takes a lot of time. But with OConnect coming and Ocademy, it's going to be so easy. And going back to doing the reseller positions, Milo, in church, we put out soup kitchens. We have food and clothing cabinets in our churches. We supply Bibles. But can you imagine even supplying them internet data? Having a position just for internet data across the globe? Like, because everybody is short on data, giving them computers, Bibles. There's so many positions that we can designate those funds to. And with OnJoy, oh my Lord, I am so grateful for that. And another one is Tracker. Like, when you give a position to a church for certain specific things, say it's for the missionaries or supplies, and you help build that. Tracker, it with the heat map, it's going to say, we need more in this area of the globe. We need more in that area. So we can target our reseller positions that we want to donate to them and put it under that cause is amazing. And when you said you were talking about the Alzheimer's, Milo, and singing Amazing Grace and how it brought that out, can you imagine translating that to other countries and how it can bring them out to be able to speak in their language and hear the music in their language and bring the joy and the tears and the laughter back to them? I am so grateful, thankful, and blessed for being a part of ONPASSIVE. It brings tears to me every day. When I wake up and I join a webinar, there's always new information, new technology. Everything is changing every day. I'm 62 years old and I live with COPD and I'm on oxygen, but I'm still able to have the laughter and the joy through ONPASSIVE, what it gives me and what I'm able to bless others with. It's not about me anymore. It's about blessing others. And when we look at it as a we, not I, things change everywhere, not only in our churches, but if we look at the homeless on the streets, it's not about I, it's about them and how to change them. There's so many things that are in need, but the church and God's word is very important to me. So, because it not only leaves a legacy for them as a reseller, it changes the churches, it changes the people in it. And that's what we are. We're all humans. Every one of us are humans. It doesn't matter the cause. So if we're able to change humans, that's us, we'll change the world. We will reshape it, repaint it with love from the heart. I could go on, but I'm sitting here and I'm in chills and shaking for joy to the world. Thank you, Milo and Janine, for letting me speak today. because this is my heart. ONPASSIVE is my heart. And each and every one of the founders, I love you all from every speck of my heart to yours. God bless. Take care.
God bless you, Pat. You are an inspiration and tirelessly sharing not only your personal passion of God's word, and I didn't know you did these global Bible studies. That's just amazing. You just are so amazing in what you're able to do, and you don't use your oxygen or your CO, you don't use that as an excuse not to do what you're passionate about. So you're a double inspiration, and I thank you for coming on. Milo, I know you were inspired by what Pat said, so what do you have to say?
Very much.
Sorry,
Patricia.
Milo, may I just say one thing?
Yes, go ahead.
When we have a purpose in life, which I never had from before, that purpose is driving each of us. And I believe everyone needs to find that purpose in them, like Mr. Ash always says, and go with it. Stay in your line, like Milo says. Stay in it. Because if you can be yourself, be who you are, which I never did know myself, Milo and Janine. It took me 62 years to become who I am today. Because I've went through physical, mental, sexual abuse, but it's made me a better person for who I am today. And I thank God for that and ONPASSIVE and each and every one of the founders for over 3.5 years now that have given me the joy in my heart. Sorry, Milo. Thank you.
Oh, no, that was great, Patricia. I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes. But I remember when you first come on, what was it, about 3 years ago? You come on Julian Milo's show? Was it 3 years or 2.5 years ago?
Somewhere in there, Milo, but I couldn't speak, remember?
I do remember. I do remember. And I look at you now, I listen to you. I'm amazed. I love watching people grow in ONPASSIVE. I love it. I love, your purpose. You got a purpose. I love your attitude. I tell you what, if you get up in the morning and you take a breath, you should be happy. If the grass is green underneath you, man, be happy. You know what I'm saying? You have a choice. When you wake up every morning, you can be happy or you can be not happy. It doesn't matter. It's your choice, and guess what? It'll happen. Whatever you want to happen will happen. And we say a lot of times about what goes on in life. Only 90% can be controlled by the attitude. 10% maybe not, but 90% you can do something within your attitude to change your mind, to think different, and to get to a different place mentally. We all need to be there. I appreciate all you said, man. You were spot on with everything. I loved it. I love the part about data. And when I was talking basically about missionaries and stuff, and how do we realize that only 60% of the world gets internet now? What happens when the whole world gets it? When those people that never had it before, what happens if we bring them data, we bring them a phone, we bring them banking system? What happens at that point? Now they can listen to music, they can buy things that they want, they'll be opened up to a whole brand new world. Do you understand how big that is? I mean, can you imagine being an artist and getting your song out there to 212 countries around the world, and some of them, 40% of them's never even heard music. Now they hear music. What do they think? What will they buy? What will they come into? You realize now they've got apples. They can spend their apples however they want to. What if you're in theater? What if you're in dance? All these different things. What if your church is out there? Now they get to hear the word. What if there's someone named Patricia Parent that does a Bible study, and all of a sudden people want to hear that Bible study, and they sign on? 212 countries. Guess what? They're going to find it through AI. Patricia, stay in your lane. and keep doing what you're doing, because you are doing a wonderful job of it. And I am so proud of you. And I am so proud to call you my friend. Back to you, Jeannie.
Thank you, Milo. And yes, you are my friend too, and brother.
Thank you so much, Pat, and thank you, Milo. I just wanted to say the phrase "stay in your lane" has some connotations. So I want to make sure everyone understands that it doesn't mean to keep yourself in a rut or to pigeonhole yourself or any of those things. What it's about, and what even Ash mentioned it last night when he talked about picking a lane, he was speaking about Elon Musk. It's go deep within yourself, find that spark of talent, skill, passion, whatever it is, maybe something you did as a child that brought you a lot of joy. Sometimes people's lives go into a grind, a struggle, so they totally forget that thing that they were either good at or they love doing or were passionate about. And so now this is our time to become like children again and to remember those things and then find that, bring it out, whether it's music or engineering or whatever it is. And then when you think of a lane, just this brightly lit path before you where you are doing what you love, doing it passionately with no limits, that's what we mean. And Milo, do you agree with me? By choosing your lane, staying in your lane. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It means being your unique self. You're
Mhm.
something that no one else is. Love what you do and
Yes.
do what you do because you do it best. That's not saying you can't cross it and join something else if that's a passion of yours. But all it's saying is, hey, be your unique self. Know who you are and do that, because you're gonna have a lot more fun if you be yourself and you don't have to live by everyone else or what other people think or do or whatever. If you be yourself, guess what? It's a lot better world because we don't all need to be the same.
Absolutely. And I know from meeting many of the founders around the world, a lot of us have multiple interests. Like I'm somebody that I have like a 6-lane highway. I have, there's music, there's art, there's writing, there's this, all these different things. And I don't like the idea of having to choose one or the other. I find that very restricting and very non-expansive, right? So if I imagine myself just in this gigantic highway that can go over hill and dale as I choose or please, that is empowering. And I think ONPASSIVE is about empowering people and freeing all the shackles that are either self-inflicted or put on by the environment around us. That is all gone. We are fully free. And it doesn't even take the apples coming in. We are free right now because we know that we're free. And once you know it in your mind, the rest is gravy. So this is the time to think differently, to think big, and to plan out what is my first step going to be once I know that I have the means to do what I want, and just take that one step and then that other, and then just it's all going to open up for everyone. So next up we have Miriam. I hope you're safe where you are. You said there was a storm.
Yeah, there's 30-mile-an-hour winds over here, so everything's flying. In fact, the apartment building lost some shingles on our roof, so it's noisy outside. Okay, I have some questions about churches and reseller positions, so I took some notes here. Okay, how is this done? What I wanted to say is, in other words, does a church have to start like we would? Okay, you can't come in unless you go through a founder. So the founder would send the link to the church. The church would have to go through set up an O-mail. They'd have to do an EKYC. They'd have to register. They'd have to do face recognition. After they agree to do the EKYC and they go and jump through all those hoops, then we as the founder pay for the position and make them a reseller, correct? You're muted. Milo's muted.
I believe you would pay first. You would have to pay first, get the spot. then they have to go through that stuff. They can, I don't believe, go through it before unless you give them a free like a free just email or something like that. But if you actually were going to buy them a position, then you would want to pay for that position first before all that happens. That's my and here again, remember, this could change. I could be wrong tomorrow because what I hear today and sometimes changes. So it will be detailed out to you, that part. The way I see it is you would buy them a spot, you would buy them a position, they would come in, do their EK Y and all that, and then they would be in as a reseller. And they might not want to be a reseller, they might want to be just a customer, but I don't know why anyone would, because they could take that money coming in as a reseller and just refunnel it in. So I mean, that needs to be explained to them.
Right, but all the rest of us, we have to start by registering an OMail and then do the, the EKYC and the facial recognition, and then become the customer and then become the reseller. Don't they have to go through that same process?
You
I
got
would think so.
I don't know. I haven't I don't know. Jeannie, do you know?
Well, I mean, one way you could do it is you send them a link to OMail, right? They go in, they register under OMail, just a free link. And then once they get their thing set up, and I'm assuming you're communicating with them and saying, I'm doing this for you. Here's the link, go in, set it up. And then you send from your wallet money to their wallet to fund whatever, to get the reseller thing going.
Right.
That's one way, but you know what, like Milo said, this is all going to be explained. So we don't want to get into the nitty gritty now because we'll just confuse people. So I think it's best to wait.
So my question is, would the account be under the church's name or the charity's name or the person that runs a charity?
That's your call. I mean,
Okay.
It's however you want to set it up. I would
Probably
set it
the
up.
charity's name.
I would set it up under the charity's name or the church's name.
Okay.
I would. That's me.
All right, I got it. All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Miriam. Appreciate you coming. Next up, we have my dear friend, Engineer Shishanta Biswas from Bangladesh. It's so great to see you.
Hi, hello. Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much. Hi, my dear ONPASSIVE friends across the globe. Thank you so much. I must thank Milo, Jane, and also Lynn for bringing such a nice topic. And I must thank again Milo. You have briefed so nicely the topic. It was really amazed. Jean and Milo both are musicians. I love music, though I can't sing. But really, music heals our physiology because our cells of our body listen our words and also lyrics of the music. So music is very important part of our food of our mind. We can say the music. As we need the food for our body, similarly we also need the food for our mind. So music is the best food to our mind. Thank you so much. As per today's topic, yes, ONPASSIVE is massive. ONPASSIVE is everywhere. Everybody, every people, every human being, even the planet and the animals also will be the helpful through ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE is really massive. Though here is mentioned about the sources, but I should add with that the religious organizations, separate temple, mosque also can be helpful through ONPASSIVE. I myself actually help to run a temple, and that's for my own. But once that temple and so many temples or mosque or any other religious organizations needs any help, that can be possible through ONPASSIVE, and it's very easy way. In ONPASSIVE, there is no problem of I think I should say the money, because we all the ONPASSIVEians, we are unique. We are only 1.4 million people, but out of 8 billion. So we will be unique. Every people will know us. So without going through any of our tools, even the religious organizations know us, they will know us. Definitely, we will have so many apples. After meeting all our requirements, we should donate to several organizations. Of course, religious organizations will be there. So no doubt that ONPASSIVE will helpful for all the organizations. Now, regarding the charitable organizations, all the charitable organizations, they work actually voluntarily. They work willingly. They work for the less fortunate, unfortunate people, and also for the to work to fill up the lackings. So here, I should say, the case of our South Asian country like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Nepal, there are so many children, even they are not having their proper nutrition. So if there is any charitable organization makes any project and submit to Oblast, I'm sure they will have huge amount to mitigate the nutritional problem of the children. That will be amazing for the South Asian countries and to those children also. So thank you so much. Thank you. Over to Jane. Thank you. Jane, you unmute yourself, please.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. The way that you think on a topic, like in your personal meetings, you will take what people say and you expound on it in such a beautiful way, like Milo does. So the two of you together are quite the pair. Milo, did you want to share something on?
Oh man, thanks, engineer. That was awesome. Shanta. I don't know. I might have butchered that, but anyway, I appreciate you coming, man, and talking. Love you, man. Have a good one. Thank you so much for your inject.
Thank you, Milo. Next up, we have Momodu Jallo. Do we get to see your face?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Awesome. Oh, I love you so much.
Sister Dean Aliba. Good evening,
right.
Mr. Milo, and to all my beloved founders. How you all doing? Thank you very much for everything. You know, with regards to this topic and the issues I want to raise is just to seek an advice. Maybe they may not be according to the topic for now. Mr. Milo and Sister Jane, I have two issues that I always dream of addressing. One, you know, I came from Sierra Leone, and a country with a population of almost 8 million. But that country never had a medical center where they will be able to take care of elderly people and people with disability. And so when I came to this country, I've been working in the healthcare industry, taking care of these elderly people. And I always think about my own people back home who has been suffering. You know, it's because of most of the time is family care. Whether somebody gets old or somebody has Alzheimer's or somebody become disabled, they can get a facility where they can be taken care of apart from the hospital. So I always dream of creating a nursing home where these people will be taken care of. So, but I just want to ask for an advice how, now that I'm a founder of this great opportunity, how will I be able to go about it to create, to establish a nursing home in that country that will take care of this set of people whom we are taking care of here presently, you know, in all classes and categories. That's the one issue. I know it's not in accordance with the topic of today, but just for an advice.
Okay, let me see if I understood what you were saying. You work in a nursing home or assisted living home, and you want to know
nursing home taking care of elderly people.
And you wonder how that can be funded.
No, I'm wondering, I'm planning of building a nursing home back home in Sierra Leone, because there is no nursing home to take care of elderly people and people with disability. But I want to know how I will go about it to do that. If I can access funds through Oblast, or I will have to use my account to do that.
Well,
just
number one, I think you would have a lot of people behind you that would help you fund it. Number one. Okay. So if you put the project together, you know, and you get it out there, I can even help you with it, put a website together or something, so that we can then start funding that project. And then we put people underneath it. Okay. And as we put people underneath it, you put people underneath it, it builds fast. It'll build, I believe it'll build really fast. And you'll be able to fund that project very easy.
Yeah, that's my dream, to help those people, you know, because they've only been taken care of by family members, and you know, the family members can't afford. So some of them, they leave them on the street. Some of them, you know, they struggle till they pass away. But if they have a nursing home whereby they will be able to take care of them, you create employment facility for nurses, doctors that will be taking care of these people. At the same time, the people will be well taken care of.
Absolutely. There's nothing for you to worry about, Momodu. Just wait till we get it launched, and you get a hold of me and we'll put something together, and I'm sure you'll have plenty of people helping you fund that. So just let me know. All right, brother?
So thank you very much. Do I have another more time for me to bring the second issue? Sorry.
Do what's that?
Do I have more time to bring the other issue that I want to seek advice for?
Yeah, go ahead. Looks like we got one more after you, so we need to keep it short.
Oh, short, yeah. Thank you very much. You know, I had an invention, you know, which my mom used to produce locally and sell, and that's what I grew up with.
Hey,
so when I came,
hold on, hold on. This can be done at a different time. We're talking about churches today, so all right.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's
I just wanna. Yeah, that's why I was asking. Sorry, I don't want to.
Yeah, no problem. All right.
Thank you very
Back to
much.
you, Jeannie.
Thanks, Momodu. Next up, we have the amazing Collins Mana. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I've just been listening. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Milo. Yeah, so I just pop in again, just crash again. And it's really a great topic. I said, no, I can't be indifferent without saying something. You know, we're talking about humanitarian here. We're talking about a lot of stuff. I've heard to Engineer Shushan and a lot of speakers who have said a lot of really good things about ONPASSIVE. Remember, ONPASSIVE was created for this mission. And most of the webinar I've said, without humanitarian, I don't think Mr. Ashmufra would have created ONPASSIVE. He created because of humanity, and he wants us to replicate ourselves. The only thing is that, do we have the heart as a founder? Do we have the heart to carry out the legacy? And most often I said, we have 1.4 million founders And if 500 founders can live up to the legacy of Mr. Ash Mufara, I will bet you Mr. Ash Mufara have lived his dream. Because it is not easy. It's so easy to say it than done. You can see people, because they said how you do anything is how you do everything. And there are people who started doing it. And there are times I always say in most webinar, if you are not grateful for little things, even if God bless you with bigger things, you will not be grateful. So the truth is we are grateful for ONPASSIVE, and we know ONPASSIVE will transform lots of lives. But do we have the heart and the courage to roll our sleeve, go to the street, look at everyone and said, we can do it? Because sometimes it's always better to listen than to speak a lot, because there are people who really have issues, not because they really have issues, they want someone to talk to them. And through conversation, you can help them, because speaking is healing. Sometimes people can do things, but they just need someone to listen to their voice. And I believe founders will listen. The more we listen, the more we can change stuff. And together, we can do greater things. Like from what Momodu said, we have missionaries for Africa, where your questions can be answered. What you want to do, you can do it through missionaries for Africa, because I've seen those from Sierra Leone there with their group thinking of what they can do for their countries, every country, and it will move swiftly across the globe. So everything can be done through, ONPASSIVE. It is there, it's a platform for us to strive and to bless as many people as possible. So I just want to thank you for allowing me to speak, and just want to thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colin. Thank you. You always bring it, man. That was great. Thank you so much. Enjoy having you here. Thank you. Back to you, Jeannie.
Thank you very much, Colin. Sorry, I was having some trouble muting. I have some sound going on around me, so I apologize if you hear that filtering in. Next up, we have Judy Reese, and I think after that, we're going to go to our wind down and wrap up. And Judy, would you please share your thoughts with us?
I will, but it's really hard to follow up Collins, I'll tell you.
I know.
It's got me in tears. But anyhow, I just wanted to say thank you to Milo, Jean, Lynn, for bringing this all out. Music in the nursing homes is so important. My husband was in for 11 years, and his last week of his life, our music therapist came in every day when he was not really here. And she played music, his favorite songs, the old ones, and he would just open his eyes and look at her and smile and hold my hand and squeeze it. And this is the way he went out on his next journey, was to music from our therapist. And it was beautiful. Thank you. Love to all of you.
Thank you so much, Judy. I've been in those. Please, apologies for my dog. I've had so many moments like that. It's absolutely so healing, so beautiful for everybody involved. And churches will be able to. Milo, did you want to share something on that?
Yeah, just Judy, that touches my heart, and I've seen it over and over. I've sang in nursing homes and assisted livings, and I can tell you the joy, not only that you bring to them, but what they bring back to you, the love they give back to you is unreal.
Right, and if I could add one more thing here, I spent time with some of the other veterans and seniors on our floor. And when they were on their last days, I'd go in with my phone and play music to them when the therapist wasn't around. And it just soothed them right down. They just relaxed totally. And they would go to sleep. I mean, I felt like, am I doing the right thing? Do they still have longer time here? But I think going out with that music is the most beautiful way for them to go when they don't understand much else that's going on in the world. Those are my thoughts. So thank you so much.
Thank you for those thoughts. They're great thoughts. Love it.
Thank you, Judy. All right. I think now we're going to just once again thank everybody that was working so busily behind the scenes. I would love to, if he's available, to ask Casey Zevenbergen to come forward. He was really helpful at the start of the meeting. Casey, let me see where you are. Are you able to?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Oh,
Jen.
wonderful. Hi. Thank you, Casey.
I'm still awake.
Oh, thank you. Tireless, tireless, unbelievable. Do you have a couple words for us?
No, it's been great to see everyone here on the Milo show. I don't get here very often because of the time differences. So I thought I'd make one special extra effort to get here. So I'm here, and it's been a great pleasure listening to you guys. And thank you very much for being part of your family. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jean. Great job.
Thank you, Casey. It's a pleasure. The pleasure is all ours. And next up, I would love to ask John Barilla to come forward and share. And I know he appreciates Casey, definitely.
Sure. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Jean. And you're doing a really great job today. Very good. Very good. And, you know, and just thinking about what our subject was today, I remember I mentioned a while back that I have a church. It isn't necessarily the church I attended all the time or anything like that, but it's right around the corner. It's in my neighborhood. And I know lots of friends that are very involved in the church. And I have a history of spending some time there over the years. And it burned down a couple of years ago. And it was a historic church, an iconic church built in the 1800s, just a gorgeous facade, and nothing is left but that facade. That was the only thing they were able to save. So they have a rebuilding fund. And speaking about funding churches or building funds, well, this is beyond that. They're rebuilding, and they haven't started quite yet. But I'm planning on, I don't know exactly how to get involved, but I'm planning on helping them out with their, if I ever have enough to help out, to help them get going and get that church rebuilt. So anyway, and also now, I just wanted to say that, you know, we're all very excited. And I just have a few words for folks. I would just say that, you know, we are ready, we are going, and we are fine, to quote my favorite Oliver Fonte line about ONPASSIVE. So then I want to thank the folks that helped me today and help me just about every day behind the scenes. Very quickly, I want to mention MK Cayley, Yin Yang 444, Casey Zevenbergen, Kushal Pagoo, Raphael St. Germain, Jean Oliva, Lisa Tuach, Marikino, Bruce Gerstein, let's see now, Roy Davies, Rob Gorman, Dave Rosowski, Willie Wonky, Nancy Babcock, and who else we have today? Oh, I think Taj Sheikh was in there again today. He's been helping us in the chats in the Zooms occasionally just to help out. And do I leave anybody? Dr. Benny. And if I left anybody out, you can yell at me later and I'll get you in next time. Thank you very much. Just wanted to thank our guardians.
Thank you so much, John. And I want to jump in real quick here and say that if we could send some prayers to Dr. Benny, she's lost a loved one. And if we could surround her with our hugs and support, she could really use that right now. She was going to come on and speak, but it just was a little too much to ask of her right now. I know she's probably very passionate about this topic as well. I also wanted to say that it is apparently William Delorme's birthday. So we want to wish him a very warm and happy, wonderful birthday. William, it was great to see you talking today. It's always excellent. I've been watching you since I joined this company 2+ years ago, and I always love to hear from you. Next up, I would love to call my unbelievable co-host, Lynn Nakamoto, if you could share a few words with us.
Sure. I mean, this was a really good show. I just felt the topic was compelling. The sharing was very touching, all from the heart. I was really moved by the sharing, and I'm sure that many, many are going to watch the replay of this show, which is the beauty of it. Is we're streaming on 20 channels, so you just can't imagine the impact what you guys have shared will affect the world in a really positive way. Jean, you did a lovely job of hosting as usual. Milo, you were on fire and very informative, and it helps us to think outside of the box, you know, and of how to utilize our earnings to help others. So we appreciate that. Thank you to John Barilla and his crew for helping. Casey was a great help in posting the background. As you can see, I would say 99% of us, if we're able to use the background, have it up because of Casey's efforts. So thank you so much, Casey. And thank you for all of you for being here and being supportive of the Milo Show. We appreciate you to no end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And I completely forgot to also thank Marcienne and Bruce Gerstein for helping out as well. We couldn't do this without everybody putting in their effort, just watching out, protecting our company, keeping an eye on the chat. And I see the comments people make. They're watching to make sure that the information is accurate, it's positive, it's on track, it's not inappropriate in any way, and it takes a village to do that. So thank you to everyone. The comments were so beautiful, and I think everyone's excited about the potential of this topic and what ONPASSIVE can do. I know we want to end right on time, or if not a minute early, Milo, because I know there's another event and many folks will be going over to that with Dr. Bill. So Milo, I have said enough. So Milo, would you like to end the session with your words, please?
All right. Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Jeannie. Jeannie, the host, man. Was she awesome or what, man? Jeannie, I'm trying to get her back next week. I don't know if I can get enough money in the till or whatever to get her back. But anyway, I've asked her to come back next week and probably the following week. I want to do musicians, entertainers next week, and I want to do the following week cancer. So those are the two big ones coming up. But anyway, Lynn, you're incredible. All of you, everyone, John Barillo, everyone that was mentioned, Casey for putting the backgrounds up. I thank every one of you, because remember, there would not be a show without you here, because you're the one that makes a show. There's no big I's, no little U's in this company. ONPASSIVE is a movement, and we are here, and it's a good thing. Exciting things are happening, man. I don't know. I'm trying to keep up with everything. I know I got to go back and watch 4 more hours of Lynn Friday Night Live, because I only got 3 hours in, and I'll tell you what, the 3 hours I got in was absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't watched it, man, go watch it. I promise you, it is well worth the time. Same way with Thursdays. If you haven't watched that again, everything is so good. But once again, thank you, Jeannie, for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for all you do for us. You are a wonderful host. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Back to you, Jeannie.
I thank you, Milo. I'm sorry, I have a dog who really needs to go out right now, so she is not leaving me alone. I forget, to be honest, that we have so many meetings. I forget how we wind this one down. Do we unmute and everybody says bye, or what do we do?
That's it. We just unmute everybody, and we say bye. I'll say good night from Nashville.
Good night from New York City.
Good night
from Thailand.
Good night from Southeast.
Good night from
Philadelphia.
New York. Good night from New Zealand. Loving you.
Good
night from
Good night, man. Good night, Jeannie. Good night,
Eastern
Jim.
Washington.
Good night, Ava. Good night, Patricia. Good night, Al.
Have a good time.
Good night. Good night.
Bye. Good night, Lillian. Good night, Laura.
From Neela.
Christina. Good night, Wayne Doctor. Good night, Colin Manning. Good night,
Jeannie.
Good night.
Bye, Jenny.
Bye.
Bye, Jane. Thank you.
Share the love.
Chia sẻ tình yêu.
شارك الحب.
Teile die Liebe.
愛を分かち合おう。
Compartamos amor.
Hozd meg a szeretetet mindenkivel.
Time of peace is coming. Everyone should sing. Better lie we're loving. ONPASSIVE will bring.
Anything you need now is in one place.
stillness waiting to be yours, nothing less than grace.
Close your eyes, spread your wings, make your dreams come true. Share the joy, share the love, total freedom comes to you. Close your eyes, spread your wings, make your dreams come true. You are not alone, ONPASSIVE is your home.
If you believe in goodness, hear echoes from above. ONPASSIVE is here for you, with great and selfless love. Join to make a paradise on earth with us together,
And take care of each other forever and forever. Close your eyes, spread your wings, make your dreams come true. Share the joy, share the love, total freedom comes to you. Close your eyes, spread your wings, make your dreams come true.
dreams come true.
You are not alone, ONPASSIVE is your home.
Only love can make you hear. Only love brings happy tear. Only love can make you see
That we are safe, you and me, you and me, you and me. Close your eyes, spread your wings, make your dreams come true. Share the love and how we love. ONPASSIVE is your home. ONPASSIVE is your home. ONPASSIVE is your home. Share the love.
Passive, it's here today on passive. There's just no better way. Listen to the Julie and the Milo show, cause then you can be the very first to know. On passive, it's here today.